Yo, we always hear about who's a better player, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. We always hear about that. And to me, it's kind of disrespectful. There's a whole bunch of NBA players who won championships who were very skilled and talented players, but they never get put in the argument with being compared with Michael Jordan for the greatest of all time spot. You know, LeBron isn't the only basketball player of all time who could possibly be comparable to Michael Jordan. I mean, like you compare, Kobe was up there, Hakeem Olajuwon was up there, um, Shaq is up there. Like there's a few other players besides LeBron who can be in the argument to be compared with Jordan as far as skill, talent, and championships. But we only ever hear about LeBron being compared with Jordan, and to me that's disrespectful for the Kobe's, for the Hakeem Olajuwons, for the Shaqs, and I want to compare other players. Like let's keep it real, man. Is LeBron as good as we think? Like, man, today I want to compare LeBron to Hakeem Olajuwon. Today I want to compare LeBron to Hakeem Olajuwon. Okay, let me start it off. Hakeem was extremely skilled, especially for a center. Dude was he was listed. Hakeem was listed as a 7 footer, but I don't think he was actually a 7 footer. He was more like 6'10", 6'11". You know, dude was a center. Hakeem was a center, but he had the skill set of like a small forward. He had post moves, footwork. He had the mid-range game. He could shoot free throws. He could pass the ball. He was a good all-around player. He can score. He could play defense. He could cross you over. You know, he was doing things back in his day that you didn't see a lot of centers and 7 footers doing. And dude won 2 championships. He went. Hakeem has been to 3 championships. You know, he went to the NBA Finals, but lost in 1986 against the Celtics. That season, he went to the NBA Finals. His first NBA Finals, Hakeem was just a second-year player. Hakeem was only a second-year player, and he led his team to the NBA Finals only as a second-year player. And he won the championship by himself. And his last championship in 1995, that was a sweep. So Hakeem won the 1994 NBA MVP. So Hakeem, he definitely has the skill, the accolades, the stats. To be compared to a player like a LeBron James. So okay, let me really start off the comparison. Who was more skilled? Hakeem Olajuwon or LeBron James? Who has more skill? Okay, LeBron's a better ball handler. LeBron is a better ball handler than Hakeem Olajuwon, and that should be expected. I mean, Hakeem Olajuwon, he's a center, so not having the same amount of ball handling skills as LeBron James, who's listed as a small forward, that's not a knock against Hakeem Olajuwon. Centers aren't known for being ball handlers, so Hakeem doesn't take an L in the dribbling category. Footwork. Footwork is a big skill, you know, offensively. Footwork gives you the opportunity. Footwork gives a basketball player the opportunity to score like in a variety of ways. You know, if a player isn't as physically big as LeBron James, you know, if a player isn't as strong and doesn't have as much muscle, he just can't bully himself to the hole every time. So when you're a thin build basketball player, you have to find different ways to score, and perfecting your footwork on the basketball court, it gives you different angles to score. You know, and that's what Hakeem Olajuwon did. I mean, he wasn't the biggest center. He didn't have the most muscle, but his footwork gave him the opportunity to like score, even when he was like being double teamed and things of that nature. I mean, Hakeem's footwork was impeccable. I mean, with his footwork, he always found a way to get to the hole and score a layup, or he used his footwork to shake and bake a player to get open and shoot the mid range. And LeBron, it's crazy. Typically, you would think like a player like LeBron James, who's shorter, he's listed as a small forward. Typically, smaller players are supposed to have better footwork and be more of a finesse player on their feet than a 7 foot center is. But Hakeem had better footwork than LeBron James. He was more agile on his feet. He was more finesse player than LeBron James. And Hakeem gets a lot of cookie points on that because you're a 7 footer, you're a center, and you have more guard skills than someone who's listed as a small forward. A small forward is supposed to have more guard skills, more finesse on their feet, quicker on their feet, have better footwork than a center usually. But in this case, Hakeem outbeats LeBron. You know, so Hakeem gets cookie points on footwork. You know, LeBron, when you watch him play, a lot of times, man, he just bullies his way to the hoop, and that's how he scores a lot of times, man. He overpowers people, and he just gets to the hole and dunks on motherfuckers. LeBron doesn't really have, especially earlier on in his career, he didn't have too many ways to score. I mean, his footwork wasn't on point. He didn't have post moves like that. But Hakeem had all of that. Hakeem has like had more of a variety of way to score than LeBron James, man. Hakeem was more skilled than LeBron James. A center more skilled than a small forward. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Like Hakeem really revolutionized the game. LeBron James is a better passer than Hakeem, of course. He should be a better passer if you're a small forward. You don't expect centers to be great passers. So like that's automatic for LeBron. I mean, that doesn't really count against Hakeem either. Um, Free throw shooting. I think in his career, LeBron might have a slightly higher shooting I mean, free throw percentage than Hakeem Olajuwon. In his career average, LeBron I think averages his free throw percentage is probably like 1 or 2% higher than Hakeem's. But in Hakeem's peak seasons, right? Hakeem's peak free throw percentage is higher than LeBron's peak free throw percentage. Hakeem and LeBron, they're about equally skilled at free throw shooting, about equally yoked in that department. And that's crazy, right? Historically, you would expect a small forward like LeBron to be a way better free throw shooter than a center like Hakeem Olajuwon, but they're about equal. So in my book, I give Hakeem Olajuwon a win in that category. Because you as LeBron, you're supposed to be a better free throw shooter than a center, especially a center. Back in the 90s and the 80s, centers back then were true centers. I mean, they didn't really shoot the ball like that. They stayed in the post. So a center of Hakeem's era who's a good free throw shooter and shot the free throw just as good as LeBron, who's a small forward, that's just amazing on Hakeem's behalf, man. Hakeem gets the lead in my book for free throw shooting. Who's a better all around player, Hakeem or LeBron? Who's a better all around player, Hakeem or LeBron? It's very close and arguable. LeBron has never had a quadruple double. LeBron has never had a quadruple double before. LeBron has never had two quadruple doubles before. Hakeem recorded two quadruple doubles in his career. That's amazing. No other player in history has done that besides Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon has the most quadruple doubles in NBA history. Having one quadruple double, that's amazing. That's a great feat to accomplish. But having two of them, that's on a whole new level, man. That's just crazy. Hakeem has two quadruple doubles, man. But LeBron, he has several triple doubles. So LeBron, he's a great all around player as well. LeBron, he can score, he can pass the ball, and he can rebound, and he can play defense. Hakeem, he can shoot the mid range. Hakeem can score. He can play defense. He can get you more blocks than LeBron. He can get you more steals than LeBron. That's crazy, right? And he's more skilled with his footwork than LeBron. So who's really a better all around player? I mean, like I said earlier, LeBron can score. He scores more than Hakeem. He'll get you assists and he'll get you rebounds. Hakeem will get you points rebounds, a couple steals a game. As a center, he'll get you like 5 blocks a game. And he's recorded 2 quadruple doubles, but LeBron has recorded several triple doubles. So who's a better all around player? I mean, offensively, LeBron scores more, but Hakeem is more skilled offensively. And he has more of an impact on the defensive end. Hakeem has more impact on the defensive end than LeBron James, man. Just as being a center. So who's really a better all around player? Even though LeBron scores more than Hakeem Olajuwon, their field goal per game per amount are about the same. I mean, I think LeBron averages like one more shot a game than Hakeem does. So offensively, scoring wise, offensively, the gap isn't really huge. I mean, LeBron only averages like one more shot per game than Hakeem Olajuwon, and he shot the ball more than Hakeem. So offensively, the gap isn't huge, and you have to add in the fact that Hakeem was more skilled than LeBron. He was probably even a better mid-range shooter than LeBron. So who's better offensively, Hakeem or LeBron? LeBron gave you more points, but Hakeem was more skilled. And even though LeBron scored more than Hakeem, LeBron only got like one more shot per game than Hakeem throughout their career averages. Like, so the gap isn't as big offensively as we might perceive it to be between Hakeem Olajuwon and LeBron. And defensively, Hakeem was a beast in the post. Number one all time in blocks and top 10 in steals. Top 10 in steals as a center. That's unheard of. I mean, LeBron, he's a good perimeter defender. I'm not knocking him. But Hakeem had more impact on the defensive end than LeBron James. So who's a better all around player? Hakeem is more skilled offensively than LeBron. And he had more impact on the defensive end than LeBron. So you could arguably say that Hakeem Olajuwon was a better two-way player than LeBron James. You can argue it. Now, let's compare them in different categories. Okay, now let's go to championships. LeBron has won 3 championships, but Hakeem has won 2 championships. LeBron has been to 9 NBA Finals, but Hakeem has only been to 3 NBA Finals. Okay, LeBron has been to more NBA Finals. I gave it to LeBron in that category. He's been to 9 NBA Finals, but he's only won 3 out of 9 NBA Finals. So, but it takes a lot of talent to go to the NBA Finals 9 times. So, Hakeem, on the other hand, he went to the NBA Finals his second year as a player. Led his team to the NBA Finals second year as a player. LeBron has never did anything like that before. Hakeem in 1994 won the NBA Finals by himself, something LeBron had never done before. And then in the next year, in 1995, against the Orlando Magic, Hakeem swept Shaq and Penny Hardaway in the NBA Finals, something LeBron has never done before. LeBron has never swept anyone in the NBA Finals before. LeBron has never swept anyone in the NBA Finals before. LeBron has never won an NBA championship by himself before. He's never swept anyone in the NBA Finals before. And he's never been to the NBA Finals as a second year player. So you can argue that Hakeem's final wins and Hakeem's finals appearances have been more impressive than LeBron James. You can argue that. And LeBron has only won one more championship than Hakeem. Hakeem has 2 rings, LeBron has 3. And on the surface, you can give LeBron the edge on that. But you have to put things in perspective. You definitely do. LeBron's first championship win in 2012 was during a lockout season. So that's kind of asterisk against one of LeBron's championship wins. Also, LeBron had more help than Hakeem Olajuwon. LeBron had Wade and Bosh for 2 of his NBA Finals. And for the 2016 NBA Finals, LeBron had Kyrie Irving. LeBron has had superstar help for most of his career. For most of Hakeem's career, man, Hakeem didn't have any help for most of his career, man. LeBron has been to so many NBA Finals, not because he's just so great of an individual player. LeBron has other superstar help that's caused him to go to the NBA Finals 9 times. Hakeem didn't have the same superstar help to go to the NBA Finals 9 times as LeBron did. If Hakeem Olajuwon had the same superstar help as LeBron James, Hakeem would have definitely had more than 3 rings in his career. You can count on that, man. So, man, like you really have to put things in perspective. Man, and technically, Hakeem has better all-around stats than LeBron. He does. You can check it out on Basketball Reference. Hakeem has better all-around stats than LeBron. I just wanted to let you guys know. I mean, I feel like LeBron is a great player, but he gets overrated, man. Is LeBron even better than Hakeem Olajuwon? We always try to say, is LeBron better than Jordan? But is LeBron even better than Hakeem Olajuwon? Is he? Hakeem has better all-around stats. Hakeem has accomplished NBA Finals feats that LeBron has never had. LeBron never went to the NBA Finals. LeBron has never won the NBA Finals by himself. LeBron has never swept anyone in the NBA Finals. LeBron didn't go to the NBA Finals as a second-year player. Sure, Hakeem Olajuwon didn't go to the NBA Finals 9 times, but that's because Hakeem didn't have the same amount of superstar help as a LeBron James. LeBron isn't offensively better than Hakeem, in my opinion. Hakeem is more skilled than LeBron. Hakeem is a better mid-range shooter than LeBron. Just as good as a free throw shooter as LeBron. Better all-around stats than LeBron. And he's bigger than LeBron. He's bigger than LeBron, and he's more skilled than LeBron. So Hakeem gets a whole bunch of cookie points in that department. Hakeem is bigger than LeBron, and he's more skilled than LeBron at the same time. He's a better two-way player than LeBron. To me, he is. He's more skilled offensively. He had more of a defensive impact. Hakeem has had a more defensive impact than LeBron James. So you can argue that Hakeem is a better two-way player than LeBron. And if you can argue that Hakeem is a better two-way player than LeBron, then you can argue that he's a better player than LeBron. Sure, LeBron, he has had a longer career. His prime, I guess you could say his prime has been longer than Hakeem's. Hakeem's prime was 12 years. LeBron's prime right now is like 16 years and running. And, okay, for longevity, you can give it to LeBron James. But, man, you could definitely argue Hakeem over LeBron, man. People think the offensive gap between Hakeem and LeBron is so huge because LeBron probably averages like 5 more points, whatever. But LeBron, he's going to average more points because he shot threes and Hakeem shot all twos. But when you look at their field goal per game, LeBron probably only averages like at most one more shot per game than Hakeem Olajuwon did. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's the offensive gap that great. Hakeem only averaged like one less shot per game than LeBron, and he was more skilled offensively than LeBron. He had more an impact on the defensive end than LeBron, and he only has one less NBA Finals with less superstar help than LeBron. Like, come on, man. You can definitely compare Hakeem Olajuwon to LeBron. What's y'all opinion, folks?